Steve Jobs was a titan of the business world who drove his products and company towards the intersection between art and technology. Along with Steve Wozniak, he helped build the personal computing revolution. In any sport, we debate who the greatest of all time is.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Is it their impact? Is it their records? Or is it how amazing their skills and the memories they created made you feel? Steve is the business GOAT because of his relentless approach to making the best possible choices that would delight the customer, making Apple's products simple and friendly, and creating a brand that emotionally resonated with his customers. Hello, my name is Kevin Carr. I make handcrafted videos about business and psychology that help you understand how business is actually done. Why is Steve the business GOAT? In this video, we'll answer how Jobs played the orchestra at Apple. Steve Jobs was a complicated man who changed the world and how we use our everyday products. How did Steve Jobs become the conductor that demanded perfection from his players? This man was most likely someone you wouldn't want to work for on first glance. A mercurial man who would constantly challenge you, verbally abuse at times his employees, and question your decision making. But when you look at the archival footage of the Macintosh team and past coworkers, they all said they loved working for Jobs and that he drove them to do the impossible. Countless past employees said working with Jobs was freeing and allowed them to always have the best idea win.
He's a maniac. He's a maniacal genius. His job is to stir up everything. He's a muckraker in the classic sense of the word. He will not leave anything alone. He will not allow inadequacy or compromise to exist.
Jobs was a perfectionist and control freak who never forgot about the chaos of his early life, who never forgot that he was chosen and that he was adopted, and never wanted to lose grip on the direction of his life and vision, even altering what was expected with his reality distortion field. In 1984, for example, with the development of the Macintosh, Jobs asked software engineer Larry Kenyon to reduce the startup boot-up time of the computer by 10 seconds. Kenyon replied it would be impossible. Steve asked if he thought it would be impossible to reduce the time if someone's life depended on that boot time being 10 seconds faster. Kenyon, a few weeks later, was able to shorten the boot time by 28 seconds. What if we cared enough about art, products, and the things we create, where it became a matter of life and death, where the quality mattered that much to us, and that we wouldn't stop until we knew in our gut that we got it right? That was Steve Jobs. With the good also came the bad. Jobs was a mercurial man of contradiction. Even though he was given up by his biological parents, he for the longest time denied that he was his daughter Lisa's father, a business icon who sold consumer products, but also was a man deep into minimalism and spirituality. This is the same guy who decided to be a vegetarian, who dropped acid and said it was one of the top 3 most important moments of his life, and also traveled to India when he was younger before he worked fully in the computer industry, not giving that much care about the money or filling his house or home with any type of furniture. How did Steve lead and get people to achieve more than they even thought was possible, even if he was difficult to work with at times?
We wanted people that were insanely great at what they did, but were not necessarily those seasoned professionals, but who had at the tips of their fingers and in their passion the latest understanding of where technology was and what we could do with that technology.
This actually reminds me of a scene from the documentary series The Last Dance about the 1997 Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. Jordan had to prod and rattle his teammates through the arduous journey of an NBA season, having to spark fires to combat the curse of winning, a curse that lets us enjoy the spoils of victory and become complacent. Would you want to work for an asshole if you could win a championship? If you could do great things with your skill set that you didn't believe was initially possible? I'll be honest, I might if the mission was right. However, I think you can demand excellence and be contentious in arguments to make the best decisions without being disrespectful. There is a way to be great and decent to work with as well. Sometimes Steve could be an asshole to work with. If Steve wasn't an engineer and wasn't a designer, what exactly did he do and why do we revere him so much in the business sense? A common problem with engineers and computer scientists is that we love to get into the weeds of building the software. With building complex software and products, it can become an afterthought to keep the end consumer or person who ends up using the product in mind. With design, we forget to keep it simple. People want magic. They don't want a detailed explanation step by step on how the spectacle works. People yearn for experiences that just work and inspire wonder. This is what Steve Jobs was able to convey with his circus ringleader gravitas. Think of the slogan, 1,000 songs in your pocket. That drives home the simple point of what the product does and elicits an emotional response in comparison to just listing the features and specifications of the product.
This amazing little device holds 1,000 songs, and it goes right in my pocket.
Steve Jobs is the GOAT because he was able to distill to its core Apple's mission and help focus his teams consistently throughout the decades towards achieving those goals.
Our customers want to know who is Apple and what is it that we stand for. Where do we fit in this world? And what we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their jobs done, although we do that well. We do that better than almost anybody in some cases. But Apple's about something more than that. Apple, at the core, its core value, is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. That's what we believe. And we've had the opportunity to work with people like that. We've had an opportunity to work with people like you, with software developers, with customers who have done it in some big and some small ways. And we believe that in this world, people can change it for the better. And that those people that are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that actually do it.
Also, Jobs knew what the general population would eventually want that they didn't even know they wanted just yet. As Henry Ford once said, if I asked customers what they wanted, they would tell me they wanted a faster horse. With a focus on design and simplicity, Jobs was able to initiate a corporate redemption arc story when he returned to Apple by getting his teams to focus on giving consumers what they wanted before they knew what they wanted, in a simple to use format that eliminated confusion and complexity. Jobs was like a restaurant owner who eliminated various menu options and reduced it to its most streamlined and popular options, focusing on doing a couple of things well and doing them simply. More importantly, Jobs wasn't solely focused on the bottom line by building beautiful and simple functional products that you would proudly want your family and friends to use. That is sorely missing in today's corporate world. There is a void in leadership where companies are intensely product focused and while still combining the artistic rebel nature Steve Jobs is known for. Leadership that is willing to take big risks and focus on what is right long term for the customers. Building products and software we are happy to put our names and our pride and share with our friends and family, and just hoping they are proud to use it as well. I hope we see another man or woman founder who can found a company that sparks wonder like Apple did and like Steve Jobs did. However, those are big shoes to fill. Steve Jobs is the business GOAT because he was able to fuse the artistic expression and the need for perfection into his teams and engineers who built Apple's products. This allowed users to craft their own worlds with simple, beautiful products. We should all demand a little more focus and perfection in the things we build.